Good afternoon. We're going to go ahead and get the program started this afternoon. So it's always disappointing to stop some of this great networking time. So again, there will still be time at the end of the program this afternoon for you guys to continue these great conversations you guys are having this afternoon. So to start us off, I'm Emily Kaiser. I am the current 2025 chair of the HEDCO board. So welcome to the 2025 State of the City. First, we want to thank Lindsay McGrath for hosting us this afternoon. Lindsay and the McGrath family of dealerships. This new building and the growth McGrath has had exemplifies economic development we have seen from the many of the Hiawatha businesses. Lindsay was interviewed this summer about the reasons she located her businesses here, and let's hear why.
This community specifically it's just blowing up, it's growing, and the businesses that are already in the community feel more like a network and a partnership. Everybody wants to help each other out, and then what are you doing? How are you growing? What can we do to help and support that? It's just like a really tight-knit community within a bigger community, and I think what's going to be possible in the next 5 to 10 years as you see things continue to grow, more businesses wanting to come out here, it's just positive for everybody, and you know, it is beautiful, so you got to do that, right?
Again, thank you very much, Lindsay, for hosting us today. McGrath is more than one of 500 businesses in Hiawatha who have made their homes here. We pride ourselves in the role we take in regional economic development. Our Gold HEDCO investors are Pinnacle Realty, Almond Companies, Lynn County Rural Electric Cooperative, Dave Wright Nissan Subaru, Hawkeye Ready Mix, Cedar Rapids Toyota, CCB Packaging, Farmer State Bake, Letter Western Craig, Crystal Group, Hawkeye Electric and Balance Group, Kirkwood Community College, Alliant Energy, P&K Midwest, Imon Communications, and Rinnernick Associates. Please help me thank all of our gold investors. We also want to take a minute to thank our silver investors, and you can see their names displayed around the event space today. All of our investors have played a key role in the success of economic development here in Hiawatha. If you haven't yet become an investor in HEDCO, you can join at hedco.org, and we appreciate all of your support. It certainly takes leadership to make this city accomplish the great things that they do. So first, a shout out to Mayor Steve Dodson and the Hiawatha City Council. Please stand. And to our HEDCO Board of Directors. HEDCO Board of Directors, would you please stand as well? And certainly to our Hiawatha City staff, led by City Manager Dennis Marks. Would all department leaders please stand? And thank you to our regional partners, Cedar Rapids and Marion, the EA and Medco, and our Lynn County supervisors, state legislators, our U.S. senators, and congressional offices and their representatives who are here today. The theme for our 2025 State of the City is celebrating Hiawatha's 75th birthday, reflecting on its past, present, and future. Just last month, we came together to celebrate Hiawatha's 75th anniversary with a parade, food trucks, music, fireworks, and more. It was not just a party. It was a statement that this city is proud of its roots and even prouder of its future. KCRG featured Hiawatha as our town for a week-long broadcast leading up to our celebration. I'd now like to introduce Hiawatha's Mayor Steve Dodson. Steve has been a resident of Hiawatha for 26 years, on the Hiawatha City Council for 6 years prior to becoming the mayor. Please help me welcome Steve Dodson. Thank you very much.
Well, good afternoon, friends, neighbors, business owners, and residents. You know, people often ask me, what's it like being mayor? So I tell them it's simple. It's like being at home. You know, you're always fixing something. Everyone's asking for money. And no matter what you do, someone thinks they could have done it better. But it's wonderful to see so many familiar faces gathered here today, all invested in our state of our city. And I'd like to start today with a presentation of our Fay Clark Hall of Fame Award, named for a city's founder and first mayor, Fay M. Clark. Now in its fourth year, this award honors one individual whose leadership and service have made a real difference in our community. Our honoree is someone who exemplifies what it means to be a good neighbor, is caring, humble, and gives back to the community. Not only has he served on national, state, and local boards, he appreciates his employees and does the simple things, like cooking lunch for his employees on Saturdays. He collaborates with organizations like Goodwill, To the Rescue, and veterans groups. The impact has been profound, and families often share how transformative his work has been to them. The nominator writes, I think it's safe to say if Hiawatha community asks, he says yes 100% of the time. He donated a dog park, furniture for the library, annual support of police, fire, and the local food banks. He hands out meals at Thanksgiving. He buys books, school supplies, and furnishes money for local teachers. Much of his charity work is quiet, though, and done behind the scenes, with only the satisfaction of helping as his reward. Our award winner's philosophy is clear: give without expecting anything in return. Please give a big round of applause to Hiawatha's 2025 Fay Clark Award winner, Dave Wright. Dave is attending a pre-planned conference out of state today, so we pre-recorded this. Please watch the video. So I'm here today to present the Fay Clark Award to Dave Wright, Dave Wright Nissan Subaru. Dave, congratulations on this honor. It exemplifies and embodies the dream and vision of Fay Clark himself. Everything you've done for the city is just outstanding, from the dog park to the dealership and expansions. We really appreciate it, and from the city of Hiawatha and all of our constituents, we wish you continued success and thank you for everything you've done.
Thanks, Mayor.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. It's quite an honor. I'm surprised, shocked, but thank you so much for that. And thank you for all Hiawatha's done for us as well. It's been a journey. It's 10 years. The building was done 10 years ago. Well, this December will be 10 years. We moved into this facility, and we've added three times, like I've said, which is crazy. And so it takes a lot of cooperation from Headco, city, all the staff, and there's always hiccups, there's always bumps. Sometimes there's big bumps, but the great thing is the city's always been there to work us through it. And it's been a great partnership, and this has certainly been, our growth has been phenomenal. This has been a great move for us. We've been blessed here in Hiawatha, and it is our address, so it is important that we take care of all the communities around us, but there's certainly a special place for us in Hiawatha, and it's important that we make sure that their needs are served as well. Sometimes we do talent, sometimes we have treasure, and sometimes we have time. I've never had all three at once. In fact, I very, very rarely had any talents, but I think it's important to share those. And I think when someone goes and actually helps another person or helps another organization, the feeling you get in return for that is significant. And we try to embody that in our staff here. And we try to make sure our staff knows how to give back without having to be patted on the back or recognized. So majority of what we do, we try to do quietly. The community supported us the whole time we've been here, supported us very well, including all the city staff. And so sometimes in our community, people need some help. And that's what a community is about. That's what a village is about. That's what we should strive to do, is make our community a better place for everyone. In fact, we kind of have that philosophy here. If you come work for us, we want you to be better. If you happen to leave us, we want you to be a better person when you left than when you got here. And we strongly believe that, and we believe we should behave that way in the community too. If we can make better people in our community, make our community better, it's going to be better for all of us and our guests and our customers here.
So Dave couldn't be here tonight with us, but Sydney Wright, daughter of Dave Wright and the director of marketing, is here tonight. Sydney, could you stand up and wave? Thank you for being here and acknowledging your father's achievement. As your mayor, I'm proud to stand before you today to reflect on the remarkable progress we've made together over 75 years, and most recently, to celebrate the strength and unity of our community. Hiawatha has never been a city that waits for opportunity to knock. We build a door, we shake that key, and we open it ourselves. In the past year, that spirit has powered forward incredible momentum. Today, I want to share some of the accomplishments we've made and the values behind them. Infrastructure is the backbone of any growing city, and Hiawatha has made bold strides in improving how we connect and move. When people ask me how Hiawatha is doing, I tell them this: we're growing so fast, even Google Maps has to keep updating. And that's a good problem to have, and it means our city is on the move. After the opening of the Tower Terrace interchange and its $22 million investment that will help connect I-380 to Highway 13 and pave the way for regional growth, we liked it so much, we figured, why not do it again? So now, we're building the same modern improvements to the Boyson Road interchange, as everybody in this room has probably experienced today. The diverging diamond design has proven to enhance traffic flow, increase safety, and better serve the needs of our growing community. And not on my script, I just learned today that Boyson Road will be open by Thursday evening, with 3 of the ramps open. The only ramp that will not be open will be the northbound on-ramp to 380. So other major corridor work is also in motion. Reimagining key intersections for safety and flow, starting at the Edgewood Road extension, the next step in a multi-phase plan to eventually connect a corridor all the way to County Home Road, enhancing mobility, supporting growth, and improving regional access. This summer, we're completing the next phase of our citywide ADA sidewalk ramp upgrades, a $400,000 investment to ensure every resident can move freely and safely. The Hiawatha Water Department has upgraded key parts of our system by replacing and upsizing water mains on Robbins Road and Perry Drive. They also installed new mains on Dawes, Clymer, and Thayer Roads. All of this supported by CDBG funds. Phase 1 of the Edgewood Road project includes a new transmission main connecting Peck's Landing to Emmons Street. 3 new generators are being installed at key utility sites, including a lift station and 2 well houses to ensure reliable services during outages. The Hiawatha Public Library is also receiving a generator, supporting its role as a public shelter during emergencies. All installations are funded through a community development block grant. These aren't just infrastructure progress. They're promises. The Hiawatha is planning ahead, preparing for growth, and putting accessibility first. As our economy grows, so does demand for housing, and we've risen to that challenge. Since 2023, we've seen a wave of new residential development, from the crossing on Boyson to the RO Senior Housing to the D.R. Horton Homes, Heritage Greens development, and the Village Center apartments. We are building homes for all generations. We're also building faster than expected, poised to surpass the 430 new homes a 2019 study projected we need by 2029. Since 2023 alone, we've added 379 units, 102 single-family homes, 1 duplex, 1 threeplex, 9 fourplexes, and 236 multifamily units. In fiscal year 2025, we added 27 new single-family dwellings valued at over $10 million, and a threeplex worth $600,000, building not just houses, but neighborhoods where people can grow, thrive, and stay. Hiawatha's economy is vibrant, and it's growing. In the past year, we celebrated many ribbon cuttings, including Unity Point Pace Senior Care Center, Emerald Salon, Jungie Automotive, McGrath Hyundai, and Discovery Living, the Can Shed, CertaPro, Pinnacle Realty, Cedar River Insurance, HH Processing, and Hall Lending Group. Crystal Group, Integrative Health and Hormone Clinic, and Morgan & Morio Maxillofacial Surgery were recognized as 3 of the 2025 fastest growing companies in our region. A 2024 market study concluded that we now have the demand and momentum to support a full-service hotel, which would be a first for our city and a major asset to our economy. So far this year, we have 2 new commercial buildings containing more than 50,000 square feet, valued at over $5 million. The Hiawatha Economic Development Corporation, or HEDCO, reports that their business retention expansion surveys consistently show each quarter that business leaders interviewed want to expand or modernize in the next 2 or 3 years. We've built a reputation, not as just a place to do business, but a place to grow a business. And that's because of the talent, tenacity, and support of our local entrepreneurs. One of my proudest points of progress is how we continue to invest in health, recreation, and connection, and how far we've come in 75 years. The expansion of Turtle Creek Park, 17 acres of trails, an ADA accessible playground, splash pad, restrooms, open space, and a new trail connection to a nearby housing development is a beautiful new asset for families and children. A new splash pad with features at Tucker Park was recently reopened. We were honored to receive the 2023 Healthy Hometown Award, recognizing our trail expansions, bike-friendly infrastructure, and the City Plaza's new restrooms and drinking fountains. We've updated red and green pavilion restrooms at Guthridge Park. We added new pickleball courts and a mini pitch at Guthridge Park and planted 144 trees in our parks and right-of-ways. As part of our Trails Masters Plan, we've continued to add paved paths, lighting, and safety features to make walking and biking a joy and not a challenge. One of our most popular expansions has been Food Truck Friday. This summer, Staple has grown from 1 to 5 vendors, drawing crowds of about 100 attendees per week. These improvements aren't luxuries. They're core to our mission of making Hiawatha a place where wellness is accessible, activity is encouraged, and neighbors can gather together. One of the truest measures of a city is how it supports those who need help. I'm deeply proud of the efforts that we've made on that front. At our Hiawatha Public Library, having just completed its first year of service, the new community food bank has expanded quickly, distributing over 100,000 pounds of food to more than 7,000 households. Powered by a DNR grant and supported by HACAP, this project is meeting a real and growing need in our community. In just 19 months, the Hiawatha Public Library's Dolly Parton Imagination Library has reached 329 of the 574 children in our city. That's a 57% of our little readers. That's a market penetration that most consumer product companies only dream about. Today, 263 children are actively enrolled, with 66 proud graduates already aging out of the program. This incredible success is thanks to the Founders Club, a group of local businesses, leaders, and citizens who believed in the power of putting books in the hands of every child in our community. The adult and teen programs have expanded their services as well, with the door counter showing a 20% increase in foot traffic compared to last year. A total of 130,762 patrons walked through our library doors in fiscal year 25. As mayor, my vision is simple: to build a Hiawatha that is resilient, inclusive, and forward-looking. That means collaborating with Lynn County and the surrounding cities on key infrastructure corridors. It means continuing our urban forestry efforts, supported by CDBG grants and our tree utility program, to strengthen storm resilience and natural beauty. And it means preparing for the next chapters, from opening our new fire station number 2 last year, to completing the Boyson Diversion Diamond intersection, to keeping up with housing, transportation, and workforce needs. Speaking of workforce needs, that is why Hiawatha has partnered with Cedar Rapids, Marion, Cedar Rapids Metro Economic Alliance, HEDCO, and MEDCO to form the Collaborative Growth Initiative. With the hiring of Jody Schaefer as the talent director of the EA, and she's standing right over here. Wave your hand, Jody. Her main focus is to connect with and work with our businesses to attract qualified workers to our area, and she's making great headway. So if you can expect a call from Jody if you haven't already, and meet her. She's great. Well, we have already started to showcase Hiawatha on the new Make My Move website that will entice job seekers to locate here. And here's a short video on Hiawatha's Parks and Rec.
Say hello to a great place to live, work, and play. Enjoy Food Truck Fridays at the City Plaza. If you need anything, we're here for you. Learn how our city government is friendly and accessible. Our city parks are sure to wow you. From pickleball and tennis to soccer and basketball, we have activities for the whole family. Our parks are our pride, and we constantly are reimagining fun for the family. Walkable neighborhoods are family neighborhoods. That's why we are focused on expanding access to trails and sidewalks. The City of Hiawatha is excited to welcome you to our community. Say hello to Hiawatha. Say hello to a great place to live, work, and play.
Along with all the work that the Iowa Economic Development Authority is doing to attract more residents and build a workforce, which Director Durham will explain later, these goals are ambitious, but Hiawatha doesn't shy away from ambition. We meet it head on with clear plans and strong partnerships. None of what I've shared today would be possible without the people in this room and across our community who show up every day to make Hiawatha better. To our residents, thank you for your ideas, your advocacy, and your trust. To our business owners, thank you for investing in our future. To our city staff, council members, and volunteers, thank you for your relentless commitment. We've accomplished so much, but we're just getting started. The next chapter in Hiawatha's story will be written by all of us together. Let's keep building. Let's keep growing. Let's keep moving forward, stronger, smarter, and more united than ever. Thank you. Now I'd like to introduce one of our business leaders in Hiawatha, Panka Munga from Channel Fusion. Will you come up, please?
Hello, everyone. I have the great pleasure of introducing Director Durham. First of all, as I always say, please excuse my strong Southern drawl, right? I always say that. But thank you, Mayor. It's clear that Hiawatha is moving forward based on the great progress you've made. As a member of the Iowa Economic Development Authority Board, that is something we really like to see. I have the pleasure of introducing Director Debi Durham, the Director of IDA and the Iowa Finance Authority. She was named to the position by Governor Kim Reynolds in January of 2019. Director Durham was first appointed to lead IEDA in 2011, and during her tenure has turned the agency into a successful public-private partnership, has landed billion-dollar economic development projects for Iowa, and has worked tirelessly on expanding trade and investment opportunities for the state. She prides herself on building coalitions, supporting new ventures, and strengthening the state's industries and communities. Prior to joining the IEDA, Director Durham served as the president of the Siouxland Chamber of Commerce. I see her passion every month in our board meeting. We look forward to her updates, and I'm looking forward to your comments today. So please help me in welcoming Director Debi Durham.
Well, thank you, and thanks for serving on our board. And not only that, but thank you for leading our whole innovation platform. Wow, all of these people standing. I'll try to keep it short. So first of all, it has been a great day. Deanna Triplett is with me somewhere. Deanna leads all of our public policies, my right hand, but part of our amazing team that we have, because none of us do it alone. And we've had a great day here. The mayor and Dennis gave us a great tour, and we're going to check off several of those boxes today. I begin every presentation, regardless of where we are and who the audience is, whether it's in the state or around the world, because it's our business model. It's how we approach growth at Iowa Economic Development. And it's really simple, right? It's about building a business culture in which businesses can prosper, and that's taxation and regulatory, workforce development, infrastructure. But I would tell you it is equally as important that we focus on the community side of economic development, and that's all about quality of life and housing and placemaking, right? Because Iowa's greatest challenge is the same today as it was in 2011 when I started. We have a population problem. But at the end of the day, we never want to forget who we're here to serve. So I'm a developer that's been doing this gig for many years. Let me put this in perspective. Someone introduced me the other day and said, I've been doing this for 20 years. It's a bit longer than that. I've been doing this since my first gig out of college. And putting that in perspective for all of you, I recently had a birthday. My much younger brother sent me the most gorgeous bouquet of flowers, which was extremely random, and the card said, welcome to Medicare. So I've been doing this for a very long time. But I'm a developer that doesn't believe all development is good development or all jobs are good jobs, right? The jobs that we incentivize, the jobs that we recruit, and working with our good friends at the community college, are jobs that pay people living wages, right? So it's about raising standard of living. So we want prosperous businesses, we want vibrant communities, and we want opportunities in which our citizens can thrive. And so how we do that is we follow really a multi-tiered plan, and we're going to start with this workforce talent attraction, because as I said, our biggest challenge is population. So I pay attention, people ask me what the unemployment rate is, and if I didn't look at the slide, I couldn't even tell you. And the reason I don't pay attention is because Iowa always has a low unemployment, right? We work. The number that is still concerning is that labor participation number. It was 70.2% prior to COVID, right? We have not fully recovered. Now, these are not people drawing unemployment. These are people that are sitting on the sidelines, right? We lost retirees in record numbers. We saw some come back. And the reason that's important, because in Iowa, retirees work many years past their retirement age. But the group that has not fully recovered or not come back to the workforce is the same in Iowa as it is nationally. It's young men 24 to 35. So let me tell you, if they're in your basement, you need to launch them into the world because we need them. So we're going to grow Iowa's population, and we're going to take a two-tiered approach, right? It's like Plan A and Plan B. Plan A is we need to birth more children. So any of you that can participate in that should consider it your statewide duty to do so. Right? I am now the grandmother of 5 boys. 3 of them live up the streets. The only only time my daughter ever listened to me, but she got it. But we need to also make Iowa this welcoming place for new folks, right? So we do all the marketing for the state. We market for business investment, we do tourism marketing, and so it seemed tone deaf to market during COVID when no one was leaving bunkers, so we paused. And when the economy started opening up, we did a national research project with our friends at Fleshman Hillard. And we asked this simple question: did COVID change the way you look at the place you call home? And so much so, would you consider doing something different? 7 out of 10 said yes, we would relocate. Highest demographic was 30-year-olds, followed by 20 and 40-year-olds. This is our target market: young professionals, young families, and boomerangs, right? So then we asked some more probing questions. What would you move for? Cost of living. They want to be able to live bigger in the place they call home. Public safety, which was really kind of an outlier for me, right? But not surprising. The governor and I just got back from Minneapolis, and I don't know if you've been to downtown Minneapolis. It is not the same today, and it is unfortunate that we have this iconic American city that we literally couldn't walk a block and a half past our hotel room, right? It was like the demarcation line. And in that block and a half between our hotel and our restaurant, there were 6 police officers sitting in their car. So public safety. And then, of course, we want arts and culture and outdoor rec. In fact, when we looked at this, outdoor rec, which is why we're building so many trails and parks. By the way, I have never seen so many parks in a town this size. And they are beautiful. So you do need to give Matt, your parks guy, a raise, right? I mean, because they are gorgeous, right? But that's what they said. And oh, by the way, they do want to be connected the whole time they're doing that. You know what? Because they feel compelled to share that with us all on social media, including what they ate for lunch, which I've never completely understood. So then when we ask for the final question, we are at this point giddy because we think we check all the boxes, right? This is going to be easy. And then we said, what do you think about Iowa? And the response is, where the hell is Iowa? And do you grow potatoes? So it was the whole Idaho, Ohio confusion. And so we did some national ad campaign and we measured. Our positives went up 20%. But the beauty of Iowa was something that people did not expect, right? And so we began to rebrand ourselves. The other thing we did is, if you think of Iowa, we are ag. And that's why 2024 was a very, very difficult year for Iowa. We lost 38.5% of our GDP in ag, right? That's tough. And it has a line of sight to too many of these verticals. But when you think of Iowa, we're actually manufacturing as our largest gross state product. Then you have bio, and you have insurance and finance, and we show technology or innovation is cross-cutting, because they're not standalone innovations or traded clusters, but they support the traded clusters. So we researched those clusters to figure out what we needed, and we started this talent campaign, which you guys are doing your own, which, by the way, I think is incredible. Congratulations. You're kind of taking it, because again, economic development deals and recruiting talent is won and lost at the local level. The state's job is out there to brand the state, right? Our deal is our deal. Where they go once they get here is really up to communities and regions to distinguish themselves. So we've done research, we're doing targeted marketing, we're working with the Alum Association, and we're lead nurturing, and it is working. We started our own website, right, that will tie into your website. And on this is a cost of living calculator. Why? Because they told us that's the most important thing. They want to be able to live bigger here. So we have these stories that we're capturing and we're measuring. So for 2 years in a row, we've seen net migration increase into Iowa, population increase. 2 years in a row, California, believe it or not, Southern California was number one, right? Illinois, I'm sorry, but anyone who can leave Illinois will. It's not the same place, right? It's not competitive at all. Nebraska, this one's interesting because that's the Omaha, Council Bluffs MSA. And for a year, we would see this out-migration to Omaha. That is reversing. And the reason is very simple. If you haven't been there, you should go. They are spending tremendous amount of money in community development, housing, parks, quality of life, arts and culture. And again, if you work downtown Omaha, it's cheaper to live on the Iowa side, now do our taxes, but it's also, your commute is shorter. And so we're seeing that. Nevada is different. Now, Hawaii is also 2 years in a row. That is perplexing to me, I will be honest, right? I get the affordability. There's some other things I don't know I get so much. So at first when I saw this, I thought it was one large family that moved. But apparently they're bringing all their friends and relatives. But we're researching it, so we're getting a handle on exactly what that is. On the infrastructure is a big topic, but I'm going to just talk about the infrastructure that has been an impediment to our growth, and quite frankly, that's housing, right? Our housing, is kind of like our population. We have an old housing stock, right? We have an aging population, right? And there's just not a lot of options, and that's changing, which is why you see the state invest. But look at these accolades here. You look at #1 state for millennial homeownership. What was the #1 thing they wanted? Affordability. So when we're in Southern California, we're advertising on the Skim, which Liz pointed out to me, yes, and she said, wow, that's pretty cool. The Financial Digest. We're doing all these podcasts and influencers that speak to that demographic on the things that are important to them, or housing cost, or positive commute. It's remarkable. And we have all of these programs. And let me tell you something about Hiawatha. I have never seen so many housing starts and development ready for housing in all my tours, and I do this almost every day. Your continuum of housing is, quite frankly, amazing here. So your goal is to get to over 10,000 by the year 20, you're gonna get there. Yeah, so it is unbelievable what we're doing, but we're also trying to reclaim housing in other places, old schools, right? In fact, I did make a stop in Marion. There's a church downtown that, it was 2 days from the demolition ball, and it's gonna get saved. Now, it took a lot of stone soup making, right? A little bit here, a little bit there, but it's gonna happen, and I'm so glad we could save that iconic Marion project. I had a front row seat during COVID with Governor Reynolds, and I work for her, but I'm a huge fan. And I think she did a lot of things right. But I think one of the main things she did right is when the ARPA dollars started flowing, and we can all argue that they flowed way too long and too much and all of those things, but when they came to the state, Governor Reynolds said, we are not going to create unsustainable programs with this. We're not going to grow government. We are going to invest it in those things that will propel us forth when the economy opens up. So it was infrastructure, it was childcare, it was housing, it was broadband development, because we learned you could run the world from your kitchen table. It was the airport, and the airports that got this was primarily your airport, which in case I haven't said it, this visit, I am a huge fan of Marty. I think you have an asset with your airport that I don't think any of us fully appreciate the potential of that. And then we also gave money to the Des Moines Airport, because when you think about it, it's Iowa's biggest welcome center. And I don't know about you, but when you first fly in there, it does not shout metropolitan, right? But that is changing. So we're investing in those things that are going to make us strong. On the innovation side, I just want to talk about what's happening in those traded clusters. Manufacturing is going through what economists call the fourth industrial revolution, right? It is all about automation. And it is not about replacing jobs, folks. There are not going to be people here to take those jobs when these baby boomers exit these workforce, right? And the only way that we need to increase productivity, which in essence grows GDP, which is a wealth-creating initiative that we need to do, is we need to invest in automation and digitalization. And by the way, the jobs that are there are going to pay a lot more money. The same thing on the biosciences. The big play for us is pharmaceuticals right now. Big play. We learned during COVID that we outsource things to people that are not our friends. When you cannot get amoxicillin for grandbabies because we outsource that to a country that really isn't our friend, that's a travesty. Or when you went to any big box store and you couldn't get formula for a baby, that is like a third world country. Now, that wasn't exporting. That was not foreign countries. That's because we basically have ceded all of our manufacturing to 3 players. And if you've got one down, there is no redundancy in that supply chain. So we need to change that. So that's a big play. Biofuels. The big thing for us is sustainable aviation fuel. We placed a flag, thanks to our legislators this year, because we need to say, listen, we can send our ethanol, we can send all the biodiesel down to Texas and Louisiana to refine, or we can do it here in Iowa, and I think we need to do it here in Iowa. And so we placed that flag this year. Insurance and finance, again, continuing to grow. I think that I remember years ago when I first started this gig, I got a call from a New York Times reporter that says, first of all, the same question, where is Iowa? And how did you take over Connecticut's spot as like the #1 insurance capital of the world? And I said, very simple. Look at what the Connecticut legislature was doing. They actually forgot who brought them to prosperity. And when they did that, you have not Hartford's not leaving Connecticut, it's a legacy play, but Hartford's growth is not happening there, right? And we took that spot because we understand you take care of your own backyard. There's nothing, this legislature, another great legacy for Governor Reynolds, and our legislature is really making us more competitive. When we go to places like Chicago and Illinois, we always lead with fiscal responsibility, right? And that doesn't matter who's in power. Iowans live within their means, and that is a good thing because there will be a day of reckoning in Illinois. They can't pay their pensions. I don't know how they're going to do anything. And when that day of reckoning arrives, it will rest on the door of the business community, I guarantee you. And we don't have that here because we live within our means. But look at what we've done. We went from 9% personal rate with 9 brackets, but 9% kicked in at a very low wage, right? So most Iowans were paying 9%, right? We are down to a flat 3.8%, flat tax, very, very competitive. And on our corporate, you know, we went from almost 12%, which is the highest in the country, even with federal deductibility that nobody understood. The goal to get to 5.5 with 2 tiers, and we did it with a safety net. So for 2 years, that rate has not gone down, unlike what Kansas did, by the way, because Kansas is a model on how not to do things, right? Because they cut taxes, they didn't cut spending, and there was no safety net because you're gonna have an economy like we had in 2024 that doesn't generate. So there's a safety net so we can pay for the things we value, like education, right, and public safety. We eliminated inheritance and retirement. So, you know, this was a temporary gig for me. I've been doing it for 15 years. Obviously, I have a different warped definition of temporary. So I still live in Sioux City and have a place in Des Moines during the week. I am married to my high school sweetheart of 43 years. When I go home on Friday night, we have our beverage of choice is an old fashioned, right? Apparently Joe and I have a communication problem though, because we sat down one night and he said, Debbie, did you realize that Kim, he calls her Kim, I call her Governor. He said, did you realize that Kim got rid of taxation on retirement? And I said, Joe, what do you think I do for a living? I am your economic development director of the state. Not only was I there, I helped write that legislation. I said, but I don't even know why this is a relevant conversation. And he said, well, because I talked to our financial advisor and I'm retiring in 60 days. My response was, well, good, you'll finally get through that honey-do list. But the second response was, you can't retire. I need you for labor participation. So, you know, it's all relevant. And then we cut taxes on unemployment, which is amazing. We went from 26 weeks of unemployment down to 16. There was a cry that, oh my gosh, this is terrible. We're not going to take care of people. Not true. Average time people are in unemployment in Iowa is 9 weeks because now we're working with this new delivery model. So when someone comes in, it not only works for our employers to get people back to work sooner, it works for the people receiving the benefits because let's just say they hate what they want to do and they want to sell cars or they want to be a chef and we can help them do that. So we help them or we remove barriers of entry for them. Now, I did have someone tell me, I think it was actually a reporter, not you, by the way, in Cedar Rapids, that, well, this is irresponsible. And I said, well, I don't understand how it's irresponsible. We have a $2 billion trust fund, right, that didn't go broke during COVID. If it didn't go broke during COVID, I think we're fine, right? So we're cutting taxes, we're doing responsible, and then we completely redid all of our incentives because now we're competitive, so we can change our incentives. But here's the next big issue. Right? We are proud of our renewable portfolio. Thank you, Alliant. Thank you, Mid-Am. But I will tell you, there is a fatigue on the countryside. People are not wanting more wind a lot of times, or they're not happy with solar, and the wind doesn't always blow, and the sun doesn't always shine. And if we're going to run a production economy, we have to have a clean base load. And that is, quite frankly, natural gas, our insurance policy. And then we need to put a play in for modular nuclear. And so the governor is going to put together a task force. Even if we said today we want to do it, raise our hand, it's probably 8 to 10 years off before that happens. But we need to be ready for it to be able to power our economy. And then I close with this section, quality of life. Because again, it's all about community development. And we have this incredible story to tell. And I saw it today in your parks and in your trails and seeing families out there at your splash pad. And someone told me when I was in a community, they said, well, I was just really surprised there were so many adults in the splash pad. I didn't see that today. I just saw children. I said, well, as long as they have their clothes on, I think that's okay. Yeah, it's odd. But so we're making these investments. And tourism, I mean, first of all, you have one of the best tourism directors. Where is she? Where are you? Oh, there you are. You do such a great job. Yes, tourism is big business in Iowa. And it's also the beginning, because if you did the research will tell you that most of the time people are not going to relocate until they first visit, right? They have some kind of wow experience. And so we know that there's a huge connection. The other thing, and of course these farmer markets, we're really focusing on agritourism. AI, here's our public-facing AI. We have a chat box called Goldie, it's a state bird, and I thought that was cute. She will plan your trip for you. So if you want to use Goldie, Goldie is getting rave reviews. If it's not, don't call me because I don't even know how it works. But I will direct you to someone who does. And then of course our destination and CAT grant programs are investing in Iowa. So yes, economies ebb and flow. And last year was a difficult year for us. But the reason Deanna and I do this 2 to 3 days a week is, one is you learn what's working in communities, but it is inspiring to be in my position and to be in the community to see what you're doing, because you are poised for growth. So keep doing what you're doing. We are here to partner with you, and so thank you. God bless what you're doing.
Stay right there. Stay right there. Okay, I'm Liz Mathis from HEDCO, and we have just a couple minutes, maybe 2 or 3 questions. Does anybody have any questions for Debbie? Nice questions. Nice questions. Anybody? Okay, well then, there we go. Oh, darn it. Okay, let me bring the mic back. Okay, who had their hand up? Okay, and it's a nice question. Okay, because she'll never come back here if we don't, yeah.
It's not that I don't screen my questions, it's just sometimes Deanna's going to be going back there like, don't do that, don't say that.
I just like you to kind of touch on the brain drain that Iowa has, and if there's any marketing, maybe, I saw you talk about marketing with alumni, but if there's anything with current
So you're talking
seniors.
about the Common Sense Institute study, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Where we saw that?
Yes.
So obviously, we got a chance to vet the report before it went, and it's discouraging. But I will tell you, and I think we are doing something. In fact, we had a roundtable today that Liz organized. One of the best things we can do as employers is to get our students into your businesses. Because when we can show you, if we can get them in, both Iowa students and people from outside the state, to figure out what's going on in their backyard, they want to stay. And I even said, maybe you all should start putting those electronic boards up that says, solving world problems here, right? Or feeding the world, or doing what all those amazing things Iowans are doing. We have got to tell people. But the exception that I had a little bit with the study, now they're saying that they factored it in, but I don't know how. Iowa and University of Iowa, over 40% of our students come in from outside the state. So it is harder to capture people that have no. Unlike, for instance, maybe Texas, there's a state that they only take 10% or something of students outside. So that has to have some factor, but either way, we know we're losing students, so what we have to do. However, there's a young man here that United Away. Where is he? Did he leave? I can't think of his name, I'm sorry, but nice young man. Is he here? Taylor, yes, very impressive. So he left for 7 years, right? I think that's awesome. He went out, he saw the grass isn't greener somewhere else, he learned all these skills, and he's coming back for our benefit. So I think the issue is that we just need to stay in touch with our kids. If our kids leave, I think that's fine. Send them off. But I guarantee you there will be a day when they will re-question that, and we just need to stay in touch with them and bring them back. So I think that's the effort. So for instance, I have one child who came back. They both left because, of course, the grass is always greener somewhere else. Now, my son is an architect in the Hamptons, but he married an East Coast girl, so that's a little harder for a mother to navigate, I can tell you. So, but I do it at every chance I get. They bought a lovely small home, of course, in the Hamptons, because they don't have trust funds. And they bought a home, and they were doing some remodeling, and I saw the appraised price for it. So I, like the great mother I am, sent them an incredible housewarming gift with an ad of what they could buy for the same price in Iowa. I said, you do realize you wouldn't even have to see each other in Iowa. We could get you a house so big. So there will be a day, whether it's free babysitting or whatever it is, that our kids will come home. So the point is just stay in touch. But if you want to keep them, connect them to what our employers are doing, because it is amazing what our employers are doing here.
Okay, one more question. Anybody
gosh,
back
no.
here?
Okay.
Okay, all right.
Do you count?
Oh, you're from media.
Aren't you the
can
media?
ask her later. Yeah, sure, okay, just kidding.
Okay.
So one of the topics that's been of great discussion in Des Moines in recent years is public education
Yes?
and the potential impact that's having on brain drain and other, economic concerns in the state. Does IEDA have a position, or what do you see as important to address in the education realm to help Iowa grow?
Yeah, so it's interesting because, when you looked at the things people looked for, whenever I show this presentation and there's educators in the room, they'll say, well, where is education? Education is super important, but it doesn't become important until they made the decision to move, right? So it's kind of like the top of the second tier. So now they've said they're moving, they like Iowa, and it's all about education. And so then that is important. Iowa has a great education system, right? I am a big fan of the charter schools that they're doing, the specialization school. In fact, I don't know if you all know Will Keeps from Starts Right Here. He's a gentleman that we actually are helping him with housing now because he's started a school for at-risk youth that we're not going to graduate from high school that are graduating. He's working with the public schools, and in partnership with the public schools, he's going to start a charter school. So I think we have a strong education system, and I think Mackenzie, that's really Director Snow, but they're working on math, because we need some help, and they've been working on literacy and bringing up our education. So I think they've done some really targeted initiatives that are going to pay dividends for our students. I'm a product of the public school system, and so are my children. Yeah.
On behalf of everybody here, Director Durham, thank you so much for coming.
Thank
we
you.
really appreciate it.
You do a great job.
Yeah, thank you. And despite our political differences, we have always gotten along, and we have met in the middle on many pieces of policy in regard to economic development. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for reaching across the aisle, and we appreciate that. Go Lynn County legislators too, as well. So I appreciate everybody coming tonight. This has been an information-filled event. I appreciate that you support HEDCO and you support the city of Hiawatha. Thank you, Emily, and thank you, Mayor Dodson, on behalf of HEDCO and speaking out about all the development that we have. And so if any of you are interested in becoming an investor in HEDCO, let me know. Just send me an email. And for all of that, we have a lot of food in the back and a lot of drink in the back. You are welcome to stay until 6 o'clock. And then Lindsay has to get selling cars. So we got to clear out of here so that she can do business again. So thank you all for coming. I appreciate it.